Hey folks, Foggy here, and this is my year of solo board gaming, which is an incredibly ill-advised and stupid thing to do. It is day 103. Holy cow, 103 days so far, and we are playing a game from 1985. This is almost 40 years old. This is called Orient Express, the mystery detective game. Now, I first saw an ad for this game back in Games Magazine back in when I was like 16 years old, and I remember thinking I'd really like that game. And eventually, I became an adult and I found eBay. And I found it on eBay and I found it for a relatively inexpensive price. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and get this game because for some reason this game stuck in my mind. What is this game? This game is just simply Murder on the Orient Express, the home game. You are playing as a detective. You're playing as Hercule Poirot. Now, this game is set up for either, it can be for 2 to 6 players, or it can be for solitaire. And if it's for 2 to 6 players, there's a whole bunch of things that come with these games, these little secrecy tokens that basically allow you to keep, like, have something be secret. And I'm not sure how those work because I've never played this with anybody else, but you can tell this is from 1985 because look at that pawn. Look, that is vintage pawn from 1985. That fat, like, little sort of, fat little shape to it. I'm playing green because I always play green. This game can be played solitaire, though. It plays as a solitaire game. You have some special rules that go along with that, and I'll explain those in a moment. Basically, you are investigating a murder. I forget who is the person who's been murdered. Let me read the introduction, actually. Go ahead and chew up some time here. In the years before the First World War, the Orient Express was the most famous train in the world, carrying passengers between Paris, over here, and Varna in 80 hours. There's Varna. From Varna, a 15-hour ferry across the Black Sea would bring passengers to Constantinople, the gateway to Asia. Today, tourists can travel on trains made up of railroad cars from the original Orient Express trains, although the route has been shortened. This game is set in 1913. As usual, the Orient Express is booked with an assortment of celebrities, most of them wealthy. But aboard the train may also be swindlers, thieves, spies, or even assassins. You and the other players, all famous detectives on your way to a criminologist convention on the Black Sea, board the train at Paris. At 8 p.m., only 4 hours out of the station, word comes that one of the passengers has been murdered. You and the other detectives are called on by the train chief to find the killer or killers and to discover the motive of the crimes before all suspects detrain at Varna. Whoever solves the crime will be the foremost detective in Europe. So the crewmen are not under suspicion. They're the ones that are in blue. So you have a waiter, cook, chief, conductor, and so on. The 8 green ones are under suspicion. These are the possible suspects. You have actress Marta Harry. You have Baroness Lavinia Carly, Count Alexei Vukovic, diplomat Karl Hosenzaller, entrepreneur William Blackwell, fortune teller Jean Beaufort, gambler Brett Masters, and heiress Gina Borgia. Coincidentally, they all start A through H, so that makes it nice and easy to figure out who's who. This is very much based on the Agatha Christie novel Murder on the Orient Express, which was famous, and I'm going to spoiler for a 8 decades old mystery now. In the Murder on the Orient Express, the killer ended up being everybody. Everybody was involved in the murder. Basically, it involved the kidnapping of a young child. The child was then killed. And then basically these people are the ones who are trying to exact revenge on the person who masterminded the kidnapping. So that's where that whole thing comes into play. So in this game, the reason that was such a revelation is I think that was the first time really that multiple killers were involved in the solution to a mystery story. So in this, you could have one killer, you could have multiple killers. There's no reason to think that just because you've eliminated one person, you've eliminated all of them. Now, to figure out the answer to the mystery, you have to identify, I believe, the killer or killers, the motive. You have one motive, and then the time that it occurred. I think that's everything. Just going to check here. Repeat after me. It's been a while since I played this game. Sorry, just checking. Almost. Just the killer or killers and the motive. So there's always only one motive for the murder, and that is going to be blackmail, espionage, jealousy, Revenge, and I'm not sure what the other ones are. There's just like there's two little things there that I'm meant to use. Now, the way that the game is set up is that there's a bunch of clues here in the back of the book, and then there's this one page which for each case lists all of the things that you can interrogate or that you can research. So you can interrogate suspects, you can question crew, you can search areas, and you can send telegraphs. Now, for the telegraphs, you can send telegraphs about any of the suspects or the victim themselves. You can question any of the suspects by being in the same spot. For the telegraphs, you have to be in the telegraph office. For suspects, you have to be in the same space as a suspect. To question a crew member, you have to be in the same space as a crew. And then for an area, you have to be in any of these areas specifically designated by color. So first class area are all three of these. If I'm in berth 3, then I can search the entire first class area. Same with this for the second class area, and so on. It is typical clue movement. You have to roll a dice. You then move up to the amount on the dice. So I'm going to start you off here. I rolled a 1. I can move 1 space. I can either move to over where the doctor is, or I can move to storage. I can move to this space right here. Really can't do much of anything. I'm just sort of stuck there. Now, every time you roll the dice in solitaire play, if you roll a 4, 5, or 6, the train advances 1 stop. So you're basically, you want small rolls so you can move around the train, but if you roll big, then the train moves. Now, every time that you get to a station marked with a T, that's a telegraph space. So if you're here and you can make it to the exit telegraph office on your move, you can go here and then you can send a telegraph off about one of the suspects or the victim, and you'll get some information back. And then finally, when you cross the border here from this station to this station, you then have to roll a die, and basically you'll do one of these movements. So you can move 3 crewmen anywhere on the train, move any 4 suspects to first or second class areas. This basically allows you some control over where people are when you cross the border. There's number 6 on here, move all other detectives anywhere on the train. Does not apply in solo play. You just basically stay still. And that's pretty much it. We're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to do case number 1. I've played this before, and I do not remember anything about the cases. So my mind is completely blank on this, so you don't have to worry about that. And from there, let's go ahead and get started. We'll keep this open like this. And I've got the special notepad here. I know what you're saying. I'm bending back the spine of that book. That's horrible treatment of this material. Have you seen how sloppy this material is? I mean, this is just... Look at these. Look at these cardboard pieces. Look at that. All right, so let's go ahead and start. I'll need a pencil, I think, or pen, actually. Pen should be... That is not usable anymore. My kingdom for a pencil sharpener. There we go. I think I want this up here. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and roll for real. So we roll a 4. That means that the train will, in fact, go from Paris to Chalon-sur-Marne. However, I do get to move 4 spaces. So I think what I want to do is I do want to talk to one of the staff. I want to talk to the doctor. I think that that's always a good place to start. And you know what? Well, instead of doing since I've done 1, I'm going to do case number 5. I think that that's probably my best bet. Actually, I know I've done 2 cases, so I'll do case number 3. We'll do case number 3. That's the one we're going to go for. So I'm going to do write a big number 3 on here so I know in the future, because I went to go check to see what cases I've played before, and I could not figure it out without starting to get too much into it. So for case number 3, investigate, questioning the doctor, I can go 76. Clue number 76. The victim was shot to death prior to 6 o'clock. Okay. So we're going to make a little line here. And killer acted in this time frame. So we don't care about 6 to 7, 7 to 8. We only care about this. We've now questioned the doctor, so we'll go ahead and cross off the doctor here. We'll now roll again. Even if you're not planning on moving, you still have to roll. So we've only got a 1 here, which sucks. We're going to go here, and we're going to start on this side of the train. 2. That's good because I don't want to do too much in the way of rolling movement. I'm going to move to the chief's office here. Actually, no. It's probably better if I start questioning some people here. I'm going to question the diplomat. Now you can move up to. Actually, let's go check. Let's go talk to the conductor. You can move up to the number of spaces. So I can move 1 space. I can move 2 spaces. I can't move 3. So we're going to talk to the conductor. That is 2 spaces. Actually, no. 1. Yeah, that was fine. 2 spaces. Conductor. Conductor is, for case number 3, 317. If the victim was shot, it must have happened after set 5 o'clock. Otherwise, I would have heard the shot. There was just 1 killer. All right, so that's good. We know that there was just 1 killer. And the doctor in 76, let's just make sure, the victim was shot to death prior to 6 o'clock. Okay, so from 76, I'm going to write down the clue numbers just so that we have that to look at. We know that the victim was shot sometime before 6, but according to this, it had to have happened after 5 o'clock. So we know when the frame of the murder was. It was 5 to 6. And we are just looking for 1 killer. So that was really helpful information. Let's go ahead and roll again. 6, train moves 1 forward. Let's go talk to the diplomat. We're going to start investigating people. If I roll big on this next one, I am going to try to book it to 1, 2, 3, 4, the telegraph office, so I can get some information about the victim. But let's talk to the diplomat. The diplomat's clue is number 45. If you question the Baroness, don't bother talking to the fortune teller, but the Count has further information about which suspects are coin experts, and the actress can tell you about which are jewel experts. Okay. That is a lot of information to get from one person. All right, so the diplomat. This is going to be difficult to sort of. I'm going to draw a line here. I'm going to question 1 of 2. Count. Who knows coins? Who knows jewels? That is an interesting thing to come up. And I'm going to write 45 here, and that will indicate that I've talked to the diplomat. And now we're going to roll again. Roll to 1. We're going to talk to the porter. The porter is going to be difficult. If I roll a 4, I'm not going to make it to the telegraph. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So we're going to hope for a smaller roll in this next one. But we are going to talk to the porter. The porter is 303. Uh, 303. The list of jewels the victim was carrying indicates the killer took only the very best of jewels, so it must have been an expert on jewels. Jewels stolen. Killer is expert on jewels. All right, so here's hoping that we don't get a 4. 2. I will move back towards the conductor. I really can't do much else to talk to anybody. So the movement here was 1, 2. I could move here and I could search the second class area. Let's do that. Let's search second class so that I can search. I can still make it to the telegraph office. Second class area, that is going to be 269. So we'll write a little number down there. 269. The killer took some coins and jewels, either because it was a robbery, i.e. the motive was money, or because she wanted to look that way, but left other coins and jewels behind in the open. There was only 1 killer. Took coins and jewels. So it likely was money, especially given that only the best coins were stolen, just jewels were stolen. So I have to think that money was the reason. All let's roll again. 4. And now the train moves to Strasbourg. Now we're going to go to the telegraph office. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to telegraph about the victim. Telegraph about the victim is going to be 57. Oh, I should have marked this off for questioning the suspect. Not this, because this is about telegrams. Die. All right. So telegram about the victim was 57. The motive had to be insanity, money, or revenge. The victim was an expert in both coins and jewels. He kept a list with him showing whatever he was carrying, and he had a nervous habit of checking and rechecking it to making sure that nothing was missing. So the victim had an inventory, and the motive was either insanity, money, or revenge. It was not jealousy, espionage, or blackmail. So we know none of those are relevant. We're going to roll again. We get a 3. So this time we're going to go talk to the actress, who's right here, 1, 2, 3, because we want to talk to the actress about who the jewel experts are, since we know that the killer was a jewel expert. According to the actress, that is going to be 286. And I'm keeping the book mostly off screen just because I feel like that is for the best. Among the suspects, exactly 3 women and 1 man are experts on jewels. That's annoying. 3 women, 1 man, expert on jewels. Okay, so let's roll again. Now, even if I don't want to move, I have to roll because it might determine that the train moves. I am going to search the first class area, I think, since I'm here. First class area, that's going to be 163. Oh, and I forgot to write down what the actress's clue number was. That was 286. 163. The motive was not espionage, insanity, or jealousy. So it's not insanity. It's either money or revenge. All right, let's roll again. We got a 2. So I can't really do much here. I can go... Oh yeah, I can go 1, 2, and I can talk to the heiress. So let's question the heiress. So that's going to be 22. You can tell this was also written at a different time because gender is an issue with this, with the way that this is written. The gambler is an expert on jewels. Okay. I'm going to write a big J next to the gambler. So let's write it in this column. It's not looking good. All right. Now we know the gambler is Brett Masters, who I'm assuming is male. So that is my 1 male expert. So that means that my other males, Count Alexei, I'm going to put down expert in coins. Diplomat is an expert in coins. Entrepreneur is an expert in coins. All right. And I don't know if they're experts in coins, but I don't really care about who's an expert in coins. I know that these are not experts in jewels. All right. So we've talked to the heiress. Now we've got to roll again. 3. So I've searched the first class area. I have talked to the actress, the heiress, and the diplomat. I've talked to the conductor, and I've talked to the doctor and the porter. I think at this point, my next thing that I want to do is talk to the valet. So 1, 2, 3. We will talk to the valet. That's going to be 257. The murder could not have occurred after 7 o'clock. Wow, thanks, valet. You were so helpful. All right. So the train's going into advance, the border crossing. And now we're going to do the passenger movement. However, since it's a 6, I don't do any passenger movement. So we'll continue. Oh, actually, no. This is separate. So you have to roll this dice separate from the movement roll. So a 1. All suspects and crew members go back to their starting position, so it doesn't really matter. But we do have a 6 to use for movement. So 1, 2, 3. These are considered adjacent. You don't consider this a space. 4, 5, 6. We'll embed ourselves in here. Talk to the Baroness. Hello, Baroness. 71. Sorry, Baroness is going to be 238. Would help if I looked at the correct clue number. Don't want to mix up the clue numbers for different cases. That would be just all wiggly-piggly. The diplomat and entrepreneur and fortune teller are not experts in either coins or jewelry. So, we can cross them off, and cross them off, and cross them off. Now, we know that there are 3 experts, 3 female experts in jewels and 4 women. So the heiress, the baroness, and the actress are all experts in jewelry. So it's going to be one of these 4. And we've now talked to the baroness. So let's go ahead and roll again. 1. We'll move 1. We don't need to talk to the fortune teller, but we will search the drawing room area. The drawing room area is going to be 13. And according to that, the Baroness and Heiress are experts on coins. All right. I think I may have been mistakenly assuming that somebody could be an expert on jewels or coins, but not both. All right. So let's see. Let's go ahead and roll. 1. Can't do anything. I could talk to the fortune teller, but I'm not going to. I'm going to trust that what it told me earlier was correct. 5. So the train moves 1 forward. And I could go to the telegraph office and get... I cannot make it to the telegraph office in time. That is a bummer. So let's go talk to the entrepreneur. Actually, can we make it to the cook? I mean the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's make it to the count and talk to the count. The count is going to be 174. Among the suspects, exactly 2 women and 2 men are experts on coins. 2 men, 2 women, experts on coins. All right, so we have so far 2 women. We have the count, and that would leave... So we know the count is 1 expert on coins. We know the diplomat and the entrepreneur are not. So the gambler's also got to be an expert on coins. And then that should be it. I think at this point we now know who's an expert on jewelry, who's an expert on coins, and who's an expert on jewelry and coins. I'm hoping that that is correct. We're going to roll again. We move towards Ulm. We're going to go ahead and search the smoking lounge area. 115. The motive was not insanity, jealousy, or revenge. So it was not revenge, it was money. So money was the motive. And there was 1 killer. We have to roll again. This time we roll a 6. We're going to go ahead and talk to... I mean, we're almost done investigating all the suspects. The entrepreneur and the gambler are last. We'll go ahead and talk to the gambler first. The gambler is going to be 295. The motive was not... Oh, for Christ's sakes. We already know what the motive is. Thanks, gambler. Thanks for not helping out at all. And we did move that forward. 3. We don't move forward, but we don't really get that far. We've already searched this area. We talked to the gambler. We've talked to the count. So we're 1, 2, 3. Simply move there and then roll again. 6. 1 more forward. We'll go in here. We'll talk to the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur is 108. Cannot believe I really coveted this game as a kid. Neither the fortune teller nor the gambler could have committed the murder between 5 and 6 o'clock. That is helpful information. we know that neither of these two were the killer between 5 and 6. So thank you, entrepreneur. That was very helpful. We also know that whoever did this knows Jules. So we know that it is not the Count, the Diplomat, or the entrepreneur. It's either going to be the actress, the Baroness, or the heiress at this point. So it's one of those. All right. 3. Let's search the dining area. Dining area is 244. If the murder took place after 6 o'clock, we don't need the rest of that. 3. So now the reason I was hesitant about moving to the waiter and investigating the waiter is, first of all, that is a lot of steps to have to make. And then I've got a telegraph up here. But I also think that it might still be my best bet. I got plenty of time, so I might as well go talk to the waiter since I'm here. So the waiter is going to be 278. Now, obviously, if you were playing this against other people, you would be racing to try to see who can get enough information quickly enough. The murder could not have occurred between 6 and 7 o'clock. As a fellow waiter myself, I am horrified at how useless that information was. 3. 1, 2, 3. We're just simply going to get out of there. 1. 2. 1, 2. Let's talk to the cook. Bet the cook knows something. Cook, 224. The list of coins the victim was carrying indicates the killer took only the very best of coins, so must have been an expert on coins. That is helpful information. That was 224. So we can eliminate the actress. So we're now down to the Baroness and the heiress. Now, if I were playing this up against somebody, I might actually just simply guess at this point. Make a wild guess and say, I think I know who the killer is. 1, we're going to search this area. We are going to come out just by 1, but we're going to search the kitchen area. Kitchen area is going to be 204. And at this point, we have searched every single area of the train that we can search. Which is good. You think that once you actually had all the clues that you could solve it. Neither the actress nor the Count could have committed the murder earlier than 5 o'clock. It doesn't really matter. I think we've eliminated both of them anyway. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We cannot make it to the telegraph office. So who does that leave? We have the fortune teller that we could talk to. We have the chief that we could talk to. He's all the way over on the other side. And then we can send telegraphs about various people. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to try to get to the chief. 2. 1, 2. We're going to talk to the chief. Chief, tell me what's going on here. Give me that last piece of information I need. 141. The cook knows a lot about coins. The porter knows a lot about jewels. The victim's name was Walter Defaulter. His body was found in 2nd class. Cook is an expert on coins, and I think the cook was the one who told us about the coins in the list, and the porter told us about the jewels. So that makes sense. Body was found in 2nd class. That just leaves the telegraphs. We could also talk to the fortune teller, but that's neither here nor there. Unfortunately, we have to wait for a telegraph office, and we've only got 2 more of those to go. The border has now happened, so we're going to do the border. Move the Count, Diplomat, Entrepreneur, and Gambler to the smoking lounge and or dining areas. So let's see. That's these areas over here. We've got Count, Diplomat, Entrepreneur, and Gambler. So it's really just the Diplomat comes over here. And it's like, hey, can I hang out with you, Count? So now the fun part. Since we've searched every area, we've talked to all the staff, and we talked to everybody with the fortune teller, we now just simply have to keep rolling. 5. Okay, so that's 1 more forward. We're We're not actually going to move. I mean, I could just move the train forward to Vienna. I mean, because I'm just going to keep rolling that until I get it to it. All right. So we're going to send a message about the Baroness because she's one of our last two suspects. That's going to be 68. If the Baroness is guilty, then the motive was blackmail, jealousy, or revenge. The Baroness is an expert on both coins and jewels. So we know that none of these were the motive. We know blackmail, jealousy, or revenge was not the motive. So the Baroness was not the killer. The heiress was the killer, and the motivation was money. So now, with that, let's check the solution to this. So we got solution to case number 1, solution to case number 2, and solution to case number 3. So we're going to carefully pull these out. This is insanely... I'm not even sure how this is supposed to attach. Like, what's crazy is, like, that's the way it's attached. Heiress, money. What an incredibly in-depth solution that is. Wow, I really feel enriched by how in-depth that solution is. And that's it. That is Orient Express. Now, this is a game that was originally introduced in 1985, and you can tell how far gaming has come in the years since then. This would never fly as is. First of all, you'd have actual like pieces, like you'd have an actual like fortune teller. You'd have somebody like a little meeple or something like that. You'd have a little standee that actually looked like a fortune teller. You'd have, instead of just that 2 words, heiress, money, you'd have like an in-depth solution. Like you'd have that at the top, and then you might have like a lot more background. Like you'd have some sort of story explanation for that. I do like the way that this game is structured. It does set up well for a solitaire play. But it's one of the reasons I'm not too worried about spoilers for this. I don't think anyone's worried about spoilers for a close to 40-year-old game. And that's pretty much it. That was all we had to do. We won by not reaching Romania. We managed to do it before we left Romania. We didn't even come close to that. So we did pretty well. We did pretty much talk to most everybody. We sent... I forgot to cross that off as well. You can see that we covered most of our tracks, which I think in a detective game you should. But that's it for Orient Express. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you later.